The Psychology of Selling, by Brian Tracy. Introduction. Imagine a young man, barely out of his teens, working on a Norwegian freighter, crossing the cold, dark waters of the North Atlantic. He hasn't graduated from high school. He has no special skills, no connections, and very little money. For years, he works manual labor jobs, just enough to get by, sometimes postponing meals indefinitely just to see the world. Then, one day, when he can no longer find that kind of work, he stumbles into a job out of sheer desperation. It's a sales job. Straight commission. His training consists of 3 simple steps. Here's your cards, here's your brochures, there's the door. For the next 6 months, this young man struggles. He works from morning until late at night, knocking on office doors during the day and residential doors in the evening. He tries everything he's told. He's told it's a numbers game, so he talks to as many people as he can, throwing mud against the wall, hoping some of it will stick. He's told it's a rejection game, so he runs from place to place trying to get rejected more often, thinking that would lead to more sales. But he's barely surviving, just making enough to pay for a single room in a small guest house. That young man was Brian Tracy. And what happened next didn't just change his life, it uncovered a set of psychological principles that have since turned more salespeople into millionaires than any other sales training process ever developed. Today, we're diving deep into his masterpiece, The Psychology of Selling. This isn't just a book about sales techniques. It's a book about the inner game of success. It reveals a profound truth, that the difference between the top 1% of salespeople and everyone else isn't about what they do on the outside, but what they master on the inside. By the end of our time together, you will understand the invisible forces that control your income, your confidence, and your results. You'll learn why your self-concept is your financial thermostat, and how to turn it up. You'll discover the real, emotional reasons people buy anything, and you'll learn the 10 keys that unlock the door to the top of any field. This is more than a summary. It's a look into the mind of a master, and more importantly, a look into the untapped potential that lies within you. Book summary. So, where does the journey begin? If you want to transform your results, where is the first place you look? Is it a new script? A better closing technique? A more advanced prospecting strategy? Brian Tracy tells us no. The starting point for all great success isn't out there with the customer. It's in here, inside your own mind. He calls it the inner game of selling. Think about this for a moment. In any large sales force, the top 20% of salespeople make 80% of the money. This is a well-known principle called the 80-20 rule, or the Pareto principle. When Tracy first heard this, it was a revelation. He made a decision right then and there to be in that top 20%. But then he learned something even more astonishing. The 80-20 rule also applies to the top 20%. This means the top 20% of the top 20%, that's the top 4% of all salespeople, earn 80% of the money in the top group. In a room of 100 salespeople, 4 or 5 of them are earning as much as the other 95 or 96 combined. Now, here's the question that changes everything. Are those top performers 10 times smarter? Are they 10 times better? No. Often, the difference is just a tiny little edge. Tracy uses a powerful analogy: a horse race. A horse that wins by a nose gets 10 times the prize money as the horse that comes in second. But is that horse 10 times faster? Of course not. It's just a nose faster. That tiny difference in performance leads to an enormous difference in reward. Selling is the same, but with one crucial difference: there are no prizes for second place. It's a winner-take-all transaction. So what is that winning edge? What is that small difference that leads to such massive results? It's not luck, and it's not an accident. It's psychology. The most important discovery in the 20th century for human performance, Tracy says, was the discovery of the self-concept. Your self-concept is the master program of your subconscious computer. It's the bundle of beliefs you have about yourself, and it determines everything you think, feel, and do. You always perform on the outside in a way that is consistent with how you see yourself on the inside. And this is where it gets really interesting. You don't just have one big self-concept, you have a series of mini self-concepts for every area of your life. You have a self-concept for how good you are at sports, for how well you get along with people, and yes, you have a self-concept for every part of selling. You have a self-concept for prospecting, for presenting, for closing, and, most importantly, for how much money you earn. Tracy calls this your income thermostat. Everyone has a financial comfort zone, a level of income that feels right to them. Psychologists have found that you can never earn 10% more or less than your self-concept level of income for very long. If you have a great month and earn far more than you're used to, you'll feel an almost irresistible urge to get rid of the money, spend it on a trip, a new suit, expensive dinners, until you're back in your comfort zone. Conversely, if you have a bad month and your income drops below your comfort zone, you'll start scrambling. You'll work longer, harder, and smarter to get your income back up to where your self-concept says it should be. The only way to permanently increase your income is to change the setting on your internal thermostat. You have to raise your self-concept of what you are worth. The person earning $50,000 a year isn't necessarily less talented than the person earning $100,000. The primary difference is that one has set their thermostat at $50,000, and the other has set it at $100,000. So, how do you do that? How do you reprogram this deep, subconscious belief? Tracy gives us a simple, yet profoundly powerful tool. It's based on the principle that you become what you think about most of the time. And you also become what you say to yourself most of the time. The key is to control your inner dialogue. And the most powerful words you can say to yourself, words that Tracy repeated to himself 50 times a day when he was starting out, are these: I like myself. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But every time you say I like myself, with feeling and conviction, your self-esteem goes up. Your brain releases endorphins, which give you a feeling of confidence and well-being. The more you like yourself, the more you like other people. The more you like other people, the more they like you. The more you like your customers, the more your customers like you and want to buy from you. It all starts with liking yourself. This is the core of the inner game. Your outer world of performance is a reflection of your inner world of attitude and belief. This inner game also explains the two greatest enemies of success in selling: the fear of failure and the fear of rejection. These fears, Tracy explains, are learned. They usually come from destructive criticism in childhood and are buried deep in our subconscious. The fear of failure is what causes us to freeze up, to procrastinate, to avoid making that extra call. A study at Columbia University found that the average salesperson works only about 1.5 hours a day. The first call isn't made until around 11 a.m., and the last call is around 3:30 p.m. Why? Because of the fear of rejection. It acts like a subconscious brake, holding them back. But imagine this: what if a marketing firm gave you a list of 50 people who were 90% guaranteed to buy from you, but only if you called on them within the next 24 hours? What time would you start work? How many coffee breaks would you take? You'd work from dawn until midnight if you could, because the fear of rejection would be gone. Top salespeople have built their self-esteem to the point where rejection doesn't hurt them anymore. They understand a crucial truth: rejection is not personal. When a prospect says no, they aren't saying no to you. They're saying no to your offer, at this time, for their own reasons. It has nothing to do with your worth as a person. The mantra of top performers is simple: some will, some won't, so what? Next, mastering this inner game, building a powerful self-concept, raising your self-esteem, and conquering your fears, is the foundation. But once that foundation is set, you need a blueprint. You need a destination. This brings us to the second pillar of sales psychology: setting and achieving all your sales goals. Top salespeople are intensely goal-oriented. They know exactly how much they're going to earn each year, each month, and each week. They aren't just hoping for success, they are planning for it with absolute clarity. Tracy says that if you don't have clear goals, you're like a marksman trying to hit a target in the fog. It doesn't matter how skilled you are, you can't hit a target you can't see. He gives us a simple 7-step formula for success that is so powerful it can change your life almost overnight. First, decide exactly what you want. Be specific. Not more money, but an exact dollar amount for the next 12 months. Second, write it down. This is critical. A goal that isn't in writing is just a wish. It has no power. The very act of writing a goal down increases your likelihood of achieving it by 1,000%. Third, set a deadline. Your subconscious mind loves deadlines. They create a positive pressure that activates your mental powers. Fourth, make a list of everything you can think of that you could possibly do to achieve your goal. Every single step. Don't edit, just write. As Henry Ford said, any goal can be achieved if you break it down into enough small steps. Fifth, organize that list into a plan. What comes first? What's most important? Now you don't just have a goal, you have a roadmap. Sixth, take action on your plan immediately. This is where most people fail. They have the dream, maybe even the plan, but they never take that first step. Action is everything. And seventh, do something every single day that moves you toward your most important goal. 365 days a year. This creates unstoppable momentum. The very act of writing down goals programs them into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious then works 24 hours a day to make that goal a reality. It sharpens your awareness, bringing opportunities to your attention that you otherwise would have missed. It gives you the right words to say at the right time. It unlocks that other 90% of your potential that most people never use. But financial goals aren't enough. You also need personal and family goals, the reasons why you want to succeed. Why do you want to double your income? Is it for a new house? To travel? To provide for your family's future? Make a list of 50 or 100 reasons. A person with 2 reasons to succeed can be easily discouraged. A person with 100 reasons becomes an unstoppable force of nature. Okay, so we've worked on our inner game. We have a powerful, positive self-concept. And we have clear, written goals that are driving us forward. Now, it's time to turn our attention to the other person in the equation, the customer. And the most important question we can ask is, why do people buy? The biggest mistake amateur salespeople make is thinking people buy for logical reasons. They don't. People buy for their reasons, not yours, and those reasons are almost always emotional. The rule is this: people decide emotionally, and then they justify logically. Every human action, Tracy explains, is aimed at an improvement of some kind. People buy your product or service because they believe they will be better off as a result. Your entire job is to show them how much better their life or work will be with your product. There are 2 major emotional drivers for any purchase: the desire for gain and the fear of loss. The desire for gain is the hope of being better off. The fear of loss is the anxiety of making a mistake, of wasting money, or of losing something you already have. And here's a fascinating insight from psychology. The fear of loss is 2.5 times more powerful as a motivator than the desire for gain. People will do more to avoid losing something than they will to gain something of equal value. A great sales presentation, therefore, appeals to both. It shows the prospect how much better off they'll be if they buy, and also what they stand to lose if they don't buy. Beyond these two core drivers, people are motivated by a whole range of basic human needs. Your job, as a doctor of selling, is to diagnose which of these needs is most important to your specific customer. What are these needs? Things like money. Everyone wants to make or save money. If you can link your product to that, you have their full attention. Security. This is a deep, powerful need. People want to feel safe, financially, emotionally, and physically. Being liked and status. We all want to be accepted, respected, and admired. We want to feel important. This is why someone might buy a $5,000 watch. They're not just buying a timepiece, they're buying status. Health and fitness. We all want to live long, healthy, energetic lives. Praise and recognition. As Abraham Lincoln said, everybody likes a compliment. We want to be recognized for our accomplishments. The key is to understand that you're not selling a product, you're selling what the product does. You're not selling life insurance, you're selling peace of mind. You're not selling software, you're selling 20 to 30% reduced administration costs. The customer is always tuned into one radio station, WII-FM, which stands for What's in it for me? The only way to find out what's in it for them is to ask questions and listen. The best salespeople dominate the listening, while the amateurs dominate the talking. Use open-ended questions, those that start with who, what, where, when, why, and how, to get the prospect talking. As they talk, they will eventually reveal their hot button, the primary emotional reason they would make a purchase. Tracy shares a wonderful story about this, the story of the flowering cherry tree. A real estate agent is showing a house to a couple. The house isn't perfect, it needs new carpets and a new kitchen. But as they pull up, the wife sees a beautiful flowering cherry tree in the backyard and exclaims, "Oh, Harry, look, I had a tree just like that when I was a little girl." The sharp salesperson immediately picked up on this. It was her hot button. As they walked through the house, every time the husband pointed out a flaw, "The kitchen is too small," the agent would gently redirect them, saying, "Yes, that's true, but look at the beautiful view you have of the flowering cherry tree from the kitchen window." By the end of the tour, the woman was so emotionally connected to that tree that she couldn't see any of the house's flaws. They bought the house, not because of the square footage or the plumbing, but because of the flowering cherry tree. In every product or service you sell, there is a flowering cherry tree. Your job is to find it. This leads us to the art of creative selling. Creativity in selling isn't about being an artist, it's simply about improvement. It's about finding better ways to connect with customers and solve their problems. Tracy says creativity is stimulated by three things: clear goals, pressing problems, and focused questions. To sell creatively, you must first become an expert on your product, your company, and your competition. Then, you apply 4 key strategic principles. 1. Specialization. You must be a specialist, not a generalist. Specialize in a particular customer, industry, or benefit. 2. Differentiation. What makes you, your product, or your company superior? What is your unique selling proposition? If you don't have a competitive advantage, as Jack Welch said, don't compete. 3. Segmentation. Who are the specific customers who can most benefit from what you do best? Define your perfect customer in detail. 4. Concentration. This is perhaps the most critical skill. Focus your time and energy only on those prospects who represent the greatest potential. Always fish for whales, not minnows. To put this into practice, Tracy recommends an exercise he calls mindstorming or the 20 idea method. Take a sheet of paper and write your biggest goal or problem as a question, like how can I double my income in the next 12 months? Then, force yourself to write down 20 answers to that question. The first few will be easy. The next few will be harder. But often, the 20th answer is the breakthrough idea that changes everything. If you do this every day, you will generate 100 new ideas a week, 5,000 ideas a year. Imagine the impact on your life if you implemented just one new idea every day. Now we get to the actual process of selling, starting with getting more appointments. The rule here is simple: spend more time with better prospects. The biggest hurdle is breaking through the prospect's preoccupation. Everyone is busy, thinking about their own problems. Your opening words in the first 30 seconds are critical. They must be the equivalent of throwing a brick through a plate glass window. Your opening should always be a question aimed at a result or benefit, without mentioning your product. For example, when Tracy was selling sales training, he stopped saying, "I'd like to talk to you about training your salespeople," which got him nowhere. Instead, he started asking, "Mr. Prospect, would you be interested in a proven method that could increase your sales by 20 to 30% over the next 12 months? The response was almost always, "Of course." What is it? When you're on the phone, your only goal is to sell the appointment, not the product. Never discuss price or details. If they ask you to mail something, you can say, "I would, but the mail is so undependable. Why don't I drop it off personally when I'm in your area on Tuesday?" Be polite, but be persistent. Finally, we arrive at the moment of truth, making the sale. This is where all the psychological principles come together. First, you must understand the different buyer personality types. Tracy breaks them down into 4 main categories that make up 90% of the market. The analytical buyer, 25%. This person is task-oriented and concerned with accuracy and detail. They are engineers, accountants, and bankers. With them, you must slow down, be precise, and provide proof for everything you say. Don't rush them. The relator buyer, 25%. This person is relationship-oriented. They are teachers, nurses, and social workers. They are concerned with how people feel and need to know that others will approve of their decision. With them, you must build trust and focus on stories of other happy customers. The driver buyer, 25%. This person is direct, impatient, and wants to get to the point. They are entrepreneurs and executives. They care about one thing: results. With them, you must get straight to the bottom line and show them how your product will get them what they want, fast. The socializer buyer, 25%. This person is outgoing, extroverted, and likes working with people. They are warm and friendly but can also be forgetful about details. With them, you build rapport, have a pleasant conversation, and when you reach an agreement, write it down immediately. To be a top salesperson, you must develop personality flexibility, adapting your style to match the customer in front of you. Your sales presentation itself should not be a monologue. It should be a planned, step-by-step process of learning and teaching. For every feature you mention, you must explain the benefit, and then connect it to the customer's specific needs. A simple formula is, because of this feature, you can product benefit, which means that you get customer benefit. And through it all, you must be an exceptional listener. Listening is the white magic of selling. When you listen intently to someone, their self-esteem goes up. They feel valued, and they like you for making them feel that way. This all culminates in the 10 keys to success in selling, which are really 10 keys to success in life. 1. Do what you love to do. You can't truly be happy until you know you're good at what you do. Commit to excellence. 2. Decide exactly what you want. Use the 7-step goal-setting formula. 3. Back your goals with persistence and determination. Your ability to bounce back from adversity is the true measure of your character. 4. Commit to lifelong learning. Read, listen to audio programs, attend seminars. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Never stop increasing its value. 5. Use your time well. Plan every day in advance, set priorities, and focus on the most valuable use of your time right now. 6. Follow the leaders. Associate with the people you want to be like. Your reference group determines your success. As Zig Ziglar said, you can't fly with the eagles if you keep scratching with the turkeys. 7. Character is everything. Guard your integrity as a sacred thing. The most important factor in any sale is trust. 8. Unlock your inborn creativity. You have more potential than you could use in 100 lifetimes. 9. Practice the golden rule. Treat your customers the way you would want to be treated if you were the customer. 10. Pay the price of success by working hard. The key is to start a little earlier, work a little harder, and stay a little later. Give it full throttle until you take off, and once you reach cruising altitude, you can ease back and enjoy the view from the top. Commentary. When you step back and look at the psychology of selling as a whole, you realize it's not really a book about selling products. It's a book about human potential. The central, thundering message that echoes from every page is that your success on the outside is a direct, mirror reflection of your development on the inside. So many of us are taught to look for external solutions. We want the magic script, the perfect closing line, the secret tactic that will unlock success. But Brian Tracy gently and wisely turns our gaze inward. He tells us that the greatest leverage we have isn't in changing our pitch, but in changing our self-concept. The idea of an income thermostat is one of the most powerful metaphors I've ever encountered. It perfectly explains why we get stuck at certain levels of success, and it gives us the key to breaking through. We have to believe we are worth more before we can ever earn more. What makes this book timeless is that it's grounded in fundamental human psychology. The fears of failure and rejection are universal. The need for status, security, and acceptance drives us all. Tracy didn't invent these principles. He simply observed them, mastered them, and codified them into a system that anyone can follow. His own story, from a struggling, commission-only salesperson to a global authority, is the ultimate proof that these ideas work. It shows us that success isn't something you're born with. It's something you learn. So what can you do, right now, to put these ideas into practice? First, start your own inner dialogue project today. Take a moment, look in the mirror, and say, "I like myself." Say it 10 times. It might feel silly at first, but do it anyway. Do it tomorrow, and the next day. Pay attention to how it changes your energy and your attitude. It's a small hinge that swings a very big door. Second, try the 10-goal exercise. It takes less than 5 minutes. Grab a piece of paper, write down 10 things you want to achieve in the next year. Then, circle the one that would have the greatest positive impact on your life. That one goal is now your North Star. Make a plan, and take one small action on it today. Not tomorrow, today. That small action creates momentum, and momentum is the engine of achievement. Finally, the next time you talk to anyone, a customer, a friend, a family member, make a conscious effort to listen more than you talk. Practice pausing for 3 seconds before you reply. Ask, "How do you mean?" to understand them more deeply. This simple shift from wanting to be understood to seeking to understand will transform the quality of all your relationships, personal and professional. That was a summary of The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. We've explored the core ideas today, but a summary is like looking at a photograph of a magnificent feast. You can see the dishes, but you can't taste the flavors. The real power of this book is in the way Tracy's stories and principles soak into your mind as you read them yourself. It's in those quiet moments of reflection that the real change happens. This summary is your map, but the book is the journey. If any of these ideas have sparked something in you, I encourage you to take that journey. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support allows us to continue exploring the world's most powerful books together. Let's keep learning, and let's keep growing. Thank you for listening.